All right, we are here with Mike of Headlocked Comics at C2E2. Tell me a little bit or a lot of what you do.
I've been a wrestling fan and a comic book fan since I was like 8 years old, and there was never any good wrestling comics. There was always Undertaker fighting demons and stuff like that, and it was never about wrestling. So I decided to make my own book, and when I started, it was just me setting up my books in Artist Alley, and then as I've gone along, I've managed to impress a lot of different wrestlers who are really into comics, and they all wanted to be a part of what I was doing. So now the book is all the art in the book is done entirely by wrestlers.
It's done by wrestlers?
Yes, the art, yes.
Oh.
Jerry the King Lawler paints the covers. We got these, we do these Norman Rockwell inspired covers, which the King's an amazing artist. And then the interiors are done by a Samoan wrestler from New Zealand named Mikel Molapola, who is currently a tag team champion in New Zealand with Haku, which I think is amazing.
That's really cool.
And, I've been really lucky. I've had about 28 televised wrestlers contribute either stories or art to the book. AJ Styles, the Young Bucks, Samoa Joe, MVP, Rob Van Dam, Hurricane, and, they've all been really, really supportive of it. And comics has always been sort of resistant to the idea of a wrestling drama. It's not superhero, and
right, but it seems like such a good marriage.
It does.
It should have happened sooner.
It does to me, but thankfully we've been able to take it to. We took it to Kickstarter. We were able to fund our books through Kickstarter.
You did? Okay, cool.
And sort of make a run all the way around sort of the comics world and build it on the wrestling side. So when I go to wrestling shows, we built an audience that way, and then through Kickstarter we're able to fund the books and just keep it going. And I think it's really cool because it's been completely built from the ground up, grassroots, by wrestling fans. And one of the things when I was pitching this book, like people were very down on, like, wrestling fans don't read, and
they're all illiterate. Yeah.
Right. And
fuck them.
Right, absolutely. And the wrestling fan base totally helped me build this book from the ground up. And
that's incredible.
I think it's amazing.
That's the dream.
So, yeah,
I don't know anything about wrestling, but I have to say that wrestling's staying power and how long it's been around and how it's evolved is really, really cool.
Wrestling to me, along with jazz music, are the only two real, genuine American art forms.
Right.
And I think I think that's why. Well, that's why part of why we do the Norman Rockwell cover, because it's sort of an Americana thing. And
I like the nod to that for sure.
I think it's amazing, and I think it's an experience, and I think you watch it on TV and you have a different idea of it. And I think just like jazz music, if you listen to jazz music at a show, it's amazing. If you listen to it recorded, it's elevator music.
Right.
If you watch wrestling on TV, it's one thing, but when you're live at the show and you hear the smack and the ring move and you're so immersive into it,
that's a really good comparison.
It's so much better. So I think that
I think it's pretty incredible that wrestling is still so insanely popular.
It is, but it's
getting more popular.
It's it's wish fulfillment. I mean, everybody wants to be that guy.
Of course.
I think, and that's part of what we do with this. This is the story of a kid working his way through the business, and so we're sort of examining the craft of wrestling as he learns the craft of wrestling, at the same time navigating the underbelly of the business. And so it's got kind of a cable drama feel, but it's always sort of centered around the idea of wrestling as an art form.
Yeah.
Because if you're a wrestling fan, you have to defend it to 50% of the people that you know. So my idea,
I know. Hanging out with the old Alex Chamberlain, I've seen that happen quite a bit.
Sure. So my hope is that I can tell an entertaining story, and then when it's done, in the sort of same way that Rocky isn't a movie about boxing. This isn't a book about wrestling per se, but we're sort of maybe sneakily educating some people into the intricacies and the depth of the craft of wrestling, where people's like, it's oiled up guys hitting each other.
You get a lot of wrestlers. You work with all of them directly, right?
Yeah. They've been awesome.
This little teddy bear back here.
Sure. Yeah. Mick's doing a story in our next volume.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Nice.
And Rey Mysterio.
He was showing me some Mick Foley YouTube videos earlier.
Sure. And I've been super, super fortunate. The guys have all been amazing, and like I said, the wrestling business takes a lot of shit sometimes.
Yeah.
But all the guys that I've dealt with have been sweethearts and super generous, and really excited to work on something outside the box. But it's storytelling. It's what they do is storytelling.
That's
and
great. I think that's very
here.
telling of wrestling, that wrestlers themselves are so eager to work on projects like that.
In an upcoming book, I've got a pinup done by a guy who's a deathmatch wrestler, and breaks light tubes over his head and falls into thumbtacks, and he's been doing it for years.
Yeah.
And it's super painful and crazy, and people might look at that and be like, you know, the guy's also amazing with, you know, a pen, and he's doing a pen
That's
up for a
incredible.
book. And
That's
I think
really great.
I think it's fantastic. So, you know, it's obviously something that we're all really, you know, like I said, we're all really passionate about, and I think it comes across in the work that we produce. And I think if people like wrestling, and I think if they like comics, they'll really like this. So.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. That's awesome.
Thanks so much.
So check out Headlocked Comics. I'm gonna check it out. I don't even like wrestling, but I think I like wrestling now. You converted me. Thank you.